Go to slides.
I'm Kathy Lane.
I'm Heather. You from Orlando or this area close?
Yeah, no, Tuesday Road, 548. Well, it's not really that close. No. That's okay. That's okay, because I have no idea where it's going. I've run down I-4. Oh my God, I've never been to this part of I-4 before, because I live down by SeaWorld.
Okay.
So, my Tuesday is about as far as I go.
You need to get up more.
I know. You have to go on I-4.
Yeah, we were guys on this end of,
Yeah.
north of Orlando.
Well, I just came 417, the 408, and then 408 to I-4. So, I'm just thinking about which way I'm going to go home now.
So we can reach out to Jordan.
There's 258 there, so.
Okay, we'll be starting in about 2 minutes.
Screen looks good.
Thank you.
Oh. They call it.
Especially if you're doing payroll.
Well, they're all nice to me, so I'm payroll.
So that's
I just threatened,
pretty benefit.
especially on my TV.
We're good for people. Not any problem.
Right now, about 205. We do all the refrigeration for public.
Okay.
We do public, Christmas, Target, Fresh Market, Little Caesars, we just got Caesars.
Wow.
We're busy. It's 7 offices throughout the state of Florida.
Throughout Florida, so you're in one state, right?
We do service up into Georgia,
Yeah.
and we've done some new stores up there, but we don't have an office there yet.
Yeah.
They want to finish all of
Okay, it is 3 o'clock. We're going to get started. And we're doing this session not only with a live audience, but with a remote audience as well. My name is Jackie Smith, and I'm a senior consultant with Integrated Business Group. I'm also the HR payroll specialist here. And where's the time going? You wait just a minute. We got a slight technical problem here. It's not advancing my slides. Is there?
Shouldn't be anything special.
No. Here we go. The agenda for today is I'm going to do a slide introduction at 3. Then at 3:05 we have Keish Smith from Integrity Data. At 3:35 we'll have Patrick from Green Shades. And I'll be back on at 4:05 with a high-level HR payroll. And 4:35 we will have questions. Now at the end of Integrity Data's piece, as well as the end of Green Shades piece, there will be a approximately 5-minute question and answer session on that. And then we'll conclude approximately 10 minutes to 5. So the first speaker is going to be Keith Schmidt with Integrity Data. And of course he's going to tell you more about his products, but the ones that I have used in the past that I am particularly pleased with is the comprehensive leave management is probably my favorite module that they have. Also the email suite that will email out your direct deposits and your W-2s, negative payroll transactions, negative deductions, and the enhanced retirement plan. So Keith, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. And just a second, and I will make you a presenter.
Okay, sounds good. So my my screen.
Okay, you are the presenter now.
All right, can you see my screen okay?
Pull your head
I
down.
can.
Okay. Full screen?
Yeah, otherwise.
Well, I'm
Okay.
Keith Schmidt from Integrity Data. I, too, have been a consultant for about 5 years. Somebody needs to select telephone instead of mic and speakers. I'm getting some feedback. Or else mute your microphone.
I don't have it plugged in.
You hit the green button up at the top.
This one?
Okay. If you need to ask questions, we'll have a question and answer period. Other than that, I'm just going to go right on through my demo. Today I'm going to be doing mostly PowerPoints because of the time frame and the products we want to cover. But we will have a little bit of a live demo about 3/4 of the way through the presentation. Okay, a little bit about Integrity Data real quickly. We began business in 1996. We started off doing mostly customizations. Then we started developing products, and by 2006 we had 13 products, which Microsoft licensed all those products from us in 2006. So those were rolled out in the Microsoft world as Advanced Payroll, Advanced HR, PTO Manager, and Benefits Self-Service. Also in 2006, they contracted us to write all the code for Microsoft's HR and payroll modules. Of course, Microsoft designed some new features in there, position control, some of the other new features, which we coded for them, and we did that for 8 years. And also, we do consulting services, development. We do 3,000 to 8,000 hours of customizations a year, so we're a pretty strong customization house. We had to get real busy and create some more products because we didn't have anything to sell. So we now have 11 products. I'm going to focus on the ones that Jackie had mentioned, and we're going to start with payroll time entry. So I don't know, I've heard from other customers that once in a while, there's transaction entries that are made. And of course, Microsoft has a way to fix those. If you want to take 17 steps in a little bit of time, you can fix those. Or with Integrity Data's negative payroll transactions product, you can take 1 step. So you can correct things like maybe they put in vacation time when they really ended up working, forgot to change their time card, or maybe they had the wrong department down. Any kind of a pay code issue, you can just simply fix that. And you can use this to back out your leave time if there's an error. It shows up on your earnings statements and pay stubs. It carries through all the way to your debits and credits and your GL entries. Keep your financial reports up to date. It's easy to see in the inquiry windows on any report that a negative transaction was made. Complete audit trail. And we also automatically adjust leave balances, and we adjust those not only in our product but in PTO Manager, core payroll, as well as the HR leave accruals. And all you have to do for our product is load our product and simply put a minus sign in. So on the transaction, if you're going to correct a PTO day, you simply put in like the -8 hours as shown here. We also have another companion type product which we developed just a couple years ago, and that was around negative deductions. We kept hearing that when people are terminated and they issue the last check, you find out, gosh, I should have refunded them a little bit of their health insurance, or maybe I should have sent back some of their overheld their retirement contribution, and now you would like to cut them a check out of payroll, but you can't do that. So you have to do manual adjustments. Again, it's a 22-step process from Microsoft. And with ours, again, it's just a one simple minus sign that you'll be able to put in for that particular deduction, whether it be health insurance. It also, during the setup, there's a little bit of setup with this, and you have to create the right types of setups to handle the pre-tax, post-tax, those types of scenarios. The other part of this is, again, just like the negative payroll transactions, there's a complete audit trail. It shows up on all the reports, as well as you can now cut a check out of payroll without having to have any pay for that particular pay period after they're terminated. So everything ends up in the payroll side of things. Accounts payable, they don't have to do anything, and payroll people really like that capability. The next one is the what-if questions, employee what-if questions. This is a little utility that we have that would show all the employees' information in regard to their paycheck, deductions, their tax state and federal tax information, their pay information. And, someone may be getting married, maybe their spouse has, say, 5 kids, and they're a little worried about, gosh, should I continue my 401k at this level? What's my paycheck going to be with these new dependents, etc. So they can model that on one window and then print out a report that shows what their new check would be. I will show this briefly. This is also is available to the employee themselves in the web client if anybody is using the web client. So the employee can just log in, run their own calculations, and figure out what their check would be based on different scenarios. The email earning statements, companies that have direct deposit, which are most companies, they have to print out the earning statements by law and distribute those to the employees. So you got printing, then you got stuffing, then you got sorting all those out by either department or employee, however you do that. You got to get those distributed, whether you FedEx them out or you give them to managers who use their time, or maybe you're just wanting to be green and save some money and obviously save time. Our email earning statements, which I will also be showing in the demo, it's very fast. It also does W-2 statements. If the employee wants to receive W-2 statements, it'll print out the W-2 statements. Other considerations are it's very fast, just 3 clicks and you're done for the payroll processing person. It'll process 60 to 70 emails per minute out of a default folder. You can easily go back if some companies have told me they've had employees that lose their earnings statement or the W-2 statement. So with this, you can quickly go back and find that audit trail code for that particular pay run, select the employee, hit process, and it'll send out the earnings statement or the W-2 statement on that. Also, another nice thing, it's secured. So it's got 128K encryption with the earnings statement. So it's secured either by the last 4 of the Social Security number, the first 5, or they can have their own particular password if they would like to do that. So not only do we send out the earnings statements, but you have the capability to send out also any kind of information. So if your 401k plan is changing or health insurance, and you got a document you want to distribute to all the employees there, you can easily attach those to the earnings statement by simply dropping those documents into a default folder, and as long as it's in there, it'll continue to mail that out. We also have the capability with that to bring in history. So once you buy our product, we can go out, run that utility, bring in all the history so you can create earning statements for people who have lost theirs even though you just purchased the product. And the last thing you can do, or the other thing you can do, is have employee-specific emails or attachments. So if a particular, like a trucking industry, they have a mileage log that needs to be attached with their earnings statement for a specific employee, you can do that with the emailed earnings statements. This does not interfere at all with the payroll processing. You can do this, hours later or days later if you want to. So there's no stopping of the payroll process to email out your earnings statements. The next product we're going to show and demonstrate a little bit, real briefly, is our workflow product. Our workflow is a product that, we have 101 GP templates right now. Microsoft has 3, and so we can do those templates. Just it takes 5 to 10 minutes to fire those up. But what it does, it sends out several levels of workflow. So a workflow is simply something changes and somebody needs to know that that thing changed. So it can send out a notification saying, hey, I've added a new chart of account, or customer so-and-so is over their credit limit. It can be an approval, which you would have to approve that new vendor setup or any process like that. And it can be also business automation, such that you can actually, once it's approved, you can actually go back into the GP windows automatically and change data on different windows. For example, if you have an employee change process going on. So that is called ULink. It works throughout the whole system. It's not just an HR payroll, so it can be used with compliance, financials, receivables, accounts payable, security, anything like that. Our comprehensive leave manager is very comprehensive. It does more than the other three that are available, and I will be doing a webinar next Wednesday on leave management, educational one for all of the leave managers for even Microsoft's PTO manager, etc. So our leave manager has a lot of capabilities in terms of it has multiple buckets, you have multiple types of leave from comp if you're public sector to lump sum type of leaves, obviously various types of accruals, etc. So it's very intuitive. The employee calls in and has a question. The HR or payroll person can quickly pull up and see all the information, all the detail. It has a complete audit trail, etc. We also handle and work with the core HR module with FMLA. So you can actually create transactions simply by entering in on the time clock or your time card that I took 2 hours off for FMLA for maybe carpal tunnel physical therapy or something like that. And we automatically create that instance as well as provide a employee level calendar for those who have different employee schedules than core GP. So we have a lot of things. All of our products are designed around little headaches and frustrations that come about from what Microsoft has or has not done in their system. And we're all kind of like Joe on some days trying to cope with all these different changes and wish life would be a little bit easier. So we're going to take a look at real quickly a little demo piece here. I'm going to slide this off on that. So the first one I'm going to look at is the ULink part. This scenario for ULink is I've got a new employee set up here, and I'm just getting ready. I just added this new employee, and what I want to do is I want to notify IT department, it's HR department, payroll, of some tasks that they need to do for this new employee. So with ULink, we have a ribbon here at the top that says, there's no workflow information available because I haven't hit the save button. So ULink works with any change of a data element. It could be the save button. It could be the fact that you change departments. You might want to do something. Anything that would create a change in any SQL data element and in any SQL table in the system. It doesn't even have to be GP. It could be a third-party billing program or whatever that may be, project control program. So I'm going to hit the save, and I'm going to save these to history here. So the user doesn't have to do anything with ULink to trigger off these workflows. And I'm going to pull up my demo Outlook box here. So look, ULink is going out there and creating a notifications for some tasks that need to be done. I'll hit my refresh button. Now up comes the HR manager's tasks, and here comes the IT and the payroll. So this will show up in the HR manager's mailbox. This is the demo system, so this kind of represents, but this would be a person's Outlook mailbox, and you'll see some of the data elements around this notification. So it says a new employee was added by me, SA, and you need to complete the following actions. Now these actions here I don't have set up. These could be a checklist document. We can route documents around with these. They can just simply be lists of things telling you to do. This one here just says complete the employee I-9 form. You could route that document. You can fill it out and complete it and send it back to somebody with ULink. You can also drill back down to the actual employee with the drill down feature if you're a GP user. But you can see it pulled out all this information about the employee out of the system, and they're going to go in and do that. The IT person has a little more work to do. They got to create an Active Directory account, SharePoint access, etc. So this is a really nice onboarding tool. Payroll people, you put their tasks there, and it could be a lot more tasks than that. So if I go back to the employee maintenance window and I pull up that employee again, and let's see, that was Z16, I think it was. Okay, so now you can see in the ribbon that there's a running workflow, and you have other tasks to see. And then you can see these different tasks. So as the users complete their tasks, part of their email part is they would say, yes, I've completed the task. And I'll just click on one of these to show you, but here it shows all the tasks. I'm going to do the SharePoint account one. The user would simply go in here, the IT guy, when he's got it completed, he would say yes. And by the way, all this is completely configurable out of the box in your system. So now you can come in here and see a complete list of, oh, they haven't done these, but this one here is completed. So at any point in time, you can see where you are in the onboarding process. So that's an example of ULink, just one of the many things it can do with ULink. So let me go into a couple other areas here. And if I complete all those tasks, it's going to show there's no more running workflows involved in there, just like it does for this previous onboarding employee I did. All right. So real quickly here, I'm going to take a look at transaction entry here. So for negative payroll transactions and negative deductions, you can see here the first transaction is simply a negative deduction. And this is what you would do to correct or to refund somebody or just to make a change. Of course, we know that you can do that in payroll right now with a negative deduction. You can't do it without a paycheck like we can. But we can also do that here. Likewise, here is the pay code one. And of course, if you're making a correction, you would probably want to add a transaction to fix it. So it went from PTO to hourly. So there's a complete audit trail with that. I wanted to show you how that is set up. And then if I go into paycheck inquiry, move this over a little bit, I got one of the examples up here. And so if I go into the actual transactions for that particular check run, you can see there's that negative $257 and those 16 hours of pay code for the PTO correction. So this shows up on all the reports, all the inquiry windows with data elements like this, both for negative payroll transactions as well as deductions. So if you would go into a deduction inquiry window, it would also show negatives. And keep in mind, it does also create the correcting journal entries for GL accounts, or correct debits and credits based upon the scenario there. Okay. I'm also going to be showing you Comprehensive Leave Manager. So if I would select this particular transaction and recreate a pay stub, of course in GP you can do that now. It's not the exact same as the earnings statement, but it's got all the data elements in there. And if I scroll down to the important part here, you can see with our Comprehensive Leave Manager that down here they've got 4 different leave codes, and it shows the earned, the taken, and the remaining just as it was on the paycheck. So the Comprehensive Leave Manager codes show up on pay stubs, paychecks. It shows up on GreenShade's employee portal. If you have Comprehensive Leave Manager, we have an integration with them. Also with Time Matrix, time clock system, it would show them also on the Time Matrix system. Okay. So the next one I'm going to look at is the what if calculator. Again, this is the scenario where I want to change a piece of information, so we pull up this information, and I can change anything in here. Taxes, I can change, their 401k up here, the percentages or the amounts, etc. Simply hit calculate, and we do basically a build and a calculate screen. We show the calculation report, and it shows the new pay amount. And then you can run that multiple times. We also do a gross up, so if you give referral amount or holiday bonus or something like that, and you want to gross it up for an employee to have exactly a $500 check, you can also do that with this product. We also now have the ability to gross up all employees to an exact amount for the whole company if you want to do that, or just by certain departments or certain areas. So that's the what if calculator. This is the one that would also the employee would have access to in the web client of Microsoft. Next, I'm going to show you the comprehensive leave piece here. Comprehensive Leave Manager is it's very versatile. I'm just going to go through the key things. We have three kinds. We have an accrual, we have a lump sum, and we have a comp time if you're a public sector. The accrual schedules, you can have your ranges based upon hours in a pay period, a calendar year, an accrual year, years worked. Years worked is typical from 0 to 5 years. I earn 2 weeks vacation. Then I earn 3 weeks from 5 to 10, etc. Calculation factors just simply means that it's prorated. If you don't work your full 80 hours in a week for biweekly, it will prorate those hours if you use a calculation factor. Also, you have the capability to determine the multiple pay codes that apply toward those hours. We have waiting periods of various kinds. So you have a one-time waiting period, recurring waiting periods. Our waiting periods can be either by a date. You have to work so many days, like 90 days or 1,000 hours before you can use your time. We have two kinds of maximums. One's an anytime maximum, which can also be tied to a schedule. So if you never let an employee go over 200 hours in a year, you would use the anytime maximum, as well as we have a carryover option. So on the carryover options, I have to slip out to the setup here. So you can have a no carryover allowed, which is a use it or lose it policy. It can be at the calendar year, which is typical, anniversary date. You can even specify a date if you need to. Or you can have unlimited carryover. One of the things we allow, we have a schedule there, so if the carryover increases with years of work, you can set that up, as well as if you're running a sick bank or any kind of want to do something with those extra hours that get chopped off, you can transfer that to a different code. So as far as the user has questions, you have all this information up here about their years of service and the like. We can go right from here to a summary showing all of their codes, earned, taken, adjusted, remaining. This can be set by calendar year or fiscal year. You can set it by date range. It's very versatile. If you double click on one of these, you can get to the transactions. The transaction detail is everything is fully kept account of. Here you can see those 16 hours of negative payroll transactions put back in the system. We have a beginning balance that was done. We also have incorporated on the taken transactions. I don't have data in here in the sample company yet, but it will show the actual day that they take a particular day, providing you enter that on the transaction when they take that. And then lastly, you can do anything you want in Comprehensive Leave Manager, because you can make all kinds of transactions. You can do adjustments, takens, payouts, transfers, zero balance. So a payout is real common. When they're terminated, it shows how many hours to pay out. You can put in a description, actually create the transaction in a batch ready to go. There's a couple reports. We do have a liability report as well as a lost action report. And keep in mind, we do work with FMLA transactions with that also. Okay, that's comprehensive leave in a nutshell. Let's see. So that, email suite. So the last one we want to look at is the email suite. So we're going to go into the transactions, and we're going to go to earnings statements. I'm just going to show you the part that the employee has to do to send these out. This is already set up, but they're going to click once to open up this window. Then they're going to select the latest pay run, and they're going to come in here and mark all the employees in the list down here, and they're going to hit process. And they're done. So there's no folding, there's no stamping, there's no distribution or anything like that. I'll cancel that. If I go back out here to my system and hit refresh, I've got the email in my inbox, And there you can see the attachments I talked about. And I can open up the email. It's secured. Here's the security. It can be Gmail, Yahoo, whatever. Here's an example of the earnings statement. Can be the same earnings statement that can be customized, etc. You can see negative payroll transactions on this earnings statement. You can see the comprehensive leave information down here on the earnings statement. Okay, so I think I've got about 3 more minutes, so I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint and talk about the retirement plans. It was mentioned that they liked our enhanced retirement plans. So if you have tiered matching for employer match, we can handle all kinds of tiers. Whether that's based upon the employee deduction or gross wages or a fixed amount. A catch-up provision can be automatically calculated and handled if you have multiple codes for deductions like a Roth and a traditional or multiple providers. That can all be handled with this. So what it does, it really manages the tiered matches automatically. It automates the catch-up for those over 50. And it also group manages the maximums across there. So you never have to worry about exceeding your 17,500 or your 23,000 if they're doing catch-up. It automatically handles that, shuts it off when they reach their maximums, prorates it on the last pay run, and then, of course, it automatically, at the beginning of the year, starts up again. We also have splits. This is for accountants where you want to allocate payroll costs to various departments other than what the payroll posting account setup can do by department, position, and code. So, for example, we can configure automatic splits across multiple cost centers, different GL segments. So if you track projects, if you track funds, grants, locations, any of those GL segments that we can't easily work with in the GP payroll posting account setup, it'll handle that. It also applies to the workers' comp, SUTA, and FUTA expenses. We also can allocate those with employee splits. We do have a capability with the product to handle the group term life insurance over 50,000 automatically, and that also includes calculating total compensation. So we have the rules around that. Integrates with HR. And then mid-period pay rate changes. So if you're a union company or if you do a review on their hire date, that would fall in the middle of a pay period. We do have a mid-period pay rate change that you simply just change the rate on the pay code and it automatically pick that up and apply that correctly during payroll processing. We do have an overtime hours calculator. This is primarily used if you have, like a weekly and a daily overtime hours, or if you have semi-monthly or monthly pay runs where you need to calculate overtime across 2 different pay periods. This handles that there. On our website at integrity-data.com or gphrp.com, you can sign up for webinars, you can watch demos, you can read case studies. We have return on investment calculators, we have downloads, you can download the user documentation, very comprehensive and open. We have a knowledge base for support out there. So if you have issues, you can go there real quickly and find some answers. And that's pretty much all I wanted to present today. That's a lot, and I think we have a minute or 2 left. Okay, you'll have to unmute your phone if you have any questions. I'm going to change the presenter back to Patrick. You have any questions? I can't hear anybody talking.
Here.
There we go.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
I've got one question. When he was talking about view link in the workflows, is SharePoint required, or do they have, is SharePoint required or not?
Yeah, let me plug in and repeat that. Keith, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
There was one question, is SharePoint required for the ULink product?
Yes, it is. The free SharePoint foundations, all of our templates will work with that. If you have enterprise or professional, obviously it definitely works with that.
Okay, can you hear me without the mic?
Well, I get feedback when you have the mic on.
Okay, so you can still hear me without the mic.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, I might just do it that way then. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
For the leave adjustments, can you attach a supporting doc supporting that particular leave adjustment?
The question, Keith, is if you have a leave adjustment, can you attach a supporting documentation for that?
Well, you could do that with ULink, but not out of the box with Comprehensive Leave Manager.
Okay. Anybody else?
Also for the overtime, he mentioned that, will that calculate weekly effective rates for halftime overtime?
All right, on the okay, you heard the question. Will it calculate weekly halftime rates for overtime?
Yes, it will.
And it will. Okay.
It also works with the FLSA blended rates. That's part of Microsoft.
Okay.
Can it calculate like 2% of previous year earnings to come up with the dollar amount for PTO time?
All right, the question is, can it calculate
2% of previous year earnings.
Of previous year earnings for?
To see what they're eligible for, our weekly people that are using.
Oh, to see what they're eligible for.
You know, that's where you
What happened?
get to use our customization development department. No, it
My
doesn't.
screen's gone black. Okay, hold just a second. I've got a little bit of a technical problem here. What happened? I didn't do anything.
GP HR.
I don't have a screensaver. I mean, or it goes on after many, many hours.
Check with Patrick. I made Patrick the presenter.
Actually, in the presenter, should I go ahead and show my screen? Would that assist?
Yeah, try and do that. I'm having a little bit of a
Okay,
technical
let me give
problem.
that a shot here.
Yeah, this is fine. No, I'm not getting it here at all. Yeah, go ahead, Patrick.
Yep, I see it now.
Beautiful. Okay, you're all set for me?
Yes, please,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
think my time is up, so if they have any questions, they can email me. So I'm going to mute myself.
All right, thank you, Keith.
You're welcome.
Well, hello, my name is Patrick McGinnis. I'm the Territory Manager for Green Shade Software, and I'll be going over how to handle payroll taxes and right out of your Dynamics. And what I will also be going over is some employee portal services as far as pay stubs online, W-2s, areas like that that'll help when you go through, and if you're looking at bringing in payroll in-house, it's going to be an easy way to handle all of those situations. There's so many different states and so many different federal filings that need to be completed. What we're going to do is make that as simple as possible for you and take one of those very scary situations like payroll taxes and make it so foolproof. It's going to be a really, really easy process to use. As far as my screen, it is being shown right now. So what I'll do is I'll show you, this is the payroll tax service. This is a web-based portal, and it allows you to go ahead and see each and every one of your states. So you can be in all 50 states, or you can be in one state, and you can see just the states that are related to you. And you also see your federal filings listed right off here as basically a to-do list. We're going to gather all of this information from your payroll transaction tables that are going through with GP. So we're going to download a connector within your dynamics. And it will sit inside there, and it will work as binoculars within your system, if you will. We'll see each and every one of the transactions. We'll see how much you're paying your employees, and be able to build a payment or a file or an e-file return that will head out to the state or federal entities as if you were to go ahead and pay them. This is going to be a very simple process, as you won't have to see any of it or build any of it. It's going to automatically be using our connector. So once that's downloaded, we'll see the information. We'll bring it out here online, and we'll give you a list of each and every one of the state filings and returns and federal filings and returns that are directly related to you in your situation. So if you're in New York, or you're in Georgia, or you're in Indiana, you'll see each and every one of those listed off right in front of you. You'll see a due date. We're going to develop that due date from the liability that we're seeing within your payroll transaction tables. So as you pay your employees a certain amount of money, you obviously owe a certain amount to the government. This is what we will go ahead and build the due dates on. We can see each and every one of the states you have. So it makes it a very simple, very broad area for you to go ahead and see all of the different jurisdictions. You can filter it through if you want to deal with just one state or federal entity at a time. You can do that, or you can just have them all listed. What I'll do is I'll click on a couple returns and payments so you can see what that looks like. I'll click on the quarterly L1 for Louisiana. What this will do is it'll grab the information from your employees that are within Louisiana and calculate the totals. Once that's done, it'll build an e-file that's set to be sent right out to Louisiana. You never have to enter any other website. You don't have to go to another state website or a federal IRS or SSA. All of them will be linked right here. So all you have to do is click the submit button, and it's gone. It's sent right off. You can make any edits you need to right here. You can do any sort of changes that you'd have to do to your return before it's sent out to Louisiana. But this is going to allow us to build the e-file from the liability that we're seeing, show you the report, and then you click submit, and it's sent right off to the state or obviously federal entity we're looking at. Right here, we're looking at Louisiana. So that's sent right off there. Then we can just click back, and we're headed right back onto our next section, and we can move right along with the to-do list, if you will. And so if we look down at another one, we'll just pick and choose another section here. We'll go with the 941 for Massachusetts. We'll click on that, and we're just going right along the line. We'll calculate the totals. You don't have to do any of that work. You're more than welcome to look through all the different fields and make any edits you would have to. But see, we're connected right to Massachusetts. You click submit, and it's gone to Massachusetts. Then we're back on, and we click back, and we are moving right along. And we can also do payments from this portion. This is going to be a very neat way to do this, because we're actually going to link your bank account, or multiple bank accounts if you have them, to the state or federal entities it's going to. So now you're going to be able to pay these end entities without ever leaving this site. So if we look at, we'll click on the New Jersey payment right here. So we'll do the liability for New Jersey. And we click on that. We see it's due. It's coming up. All right. We're going to calculate the total payment. We're actually going to explain down to the cent why you owe $155.54 to New Jersey. Then you see the amount. You're more than welcome to change it to whatever you'd like. We're going to pick the bank account that you would need. You can have multiple bank accounts. Submit payment. You can also push the payment off for the future if that's something you want to say, this is due at the end of the month, but I don't want to log back in here on the end of the month, so let me click that, and you can pick the end of the month to go ahead and send this payment off. Once that's done, it's sent right off to New Jersey, and you never think about it again. See right there, we just logged and filed 3 separate states and filed 2 returns and 1 payment, all within the span of about 5 or 6 minutes. So it's going to grab all that information, build these e-files. You don't have to think about them. We are going to build them. We are going to develop them from the information that you have. It is a worry-free process to where you can see all of your payments, even the federal portions. So now we're looking at the 941s with Schedule B. That's due to the IRS. We're going to calculate the totals. We're going to show you each and every one of those totals. You can make the edits, but you can submit it right from here. And you can be sure that each and every one of these files and returns are going to be legitimate, as we're on the IRS's website as a preferred vendor. You can actually see our logo on there, and they do constantly send us business for people that are looking to e-file electronically. So it's definitely a very, very neat, simple, easy process. We're going to keep each and every one of the returns that you guys have in the past. So any single return that you would need to look at in the past, we're going to keep that. So if we look at the Georgia G7, you're going to see the actual return amount information. It's a quick screenshot, who it was submitted by, when it was done. You can click there to download the actual e-file that was sent out. You can click the information about Georgia if you want some more information upon that. You're going to see each and every one of all the internal data, the controls that were completed. All of this information is going to be listed off for each and every return you do. This is going to be great for any sort of audits or any sort of information that you would need to give to a subordinate or somebody above you that's asking where money went or where it was, if we filed a return or something along that line. This is going to give you all that information that you need. Now, what I'll do is I'll switch gears completely, as this is the payroll tax service. It's going to cover all the tax payments, but we also have another side that's directly linked to the GP payroll side. It's going to be the employee portal. This is going to allow us to grab all the information from those payroll transaction tables and the employee portal, use that same connector, and now employees are going to be able to log on here and see personal information. They're going to see their pay stubs. They're going to see your company logo here. Your color scheme would be listed here. They're going to be able to see their W-2. And they're going to be able to see so many other different options. We have 13 different modules on here. You can pick and choose from them as you want them. It starts off with the pay history portion. It's going to show them each and every one of their pay stubs listed right here. They can just do a down click and view each and every one of them. They can see everything they would receive from a regular deduction, the earnings, the deductions, the taxes, the benefits, and all of the leave information that they might have. Save a copy. They can print out a copy. Say they're buying a house or a car and they need multiple copies. It's a very simple process. I currently view my personal pay stub on my cell phone. So it's a very simple, easy process, easy way to view each and every one of their pay stubs. Mainly is their W-2. This is definitely a very popular option. Obviously, before they can view this W-2, they're going to give electronic consent to you that they've seen their W-2. So as soon as you're ready for them to see their W-2, you can disperse it this way. We do over 2 million of these paper. We do even more than that over electronic consent each year. This is going to be a great way for you guys to distribute your W-2s online. It's going to be, you're going to get a report of everybody who's seen their W-2 online, so you actually don't have to send them a paper copy, obviously saving you lots and lots of paper cost and having to worry about getting that sent out by January 31st. You won't have to, because we'll give you a report of everybody who's seen it online. And this is their exact same W-2. You'd be sending them through the mail. They can save it. They can use it as print it out as a hard copy if they need to at any given time. Like I said, anywhere they can get on the internet, they're going to be able to view this information. So they're going to have more access to it than they would on a piece of paper. They're also their previous W-2. You will never have to print out another previous W-2 because that will be another area right down here where they would have that listed off. They can click on that previous W-2, so when they're filing their tax return, they can pull that information very easily. It's going to be a great way to get pay information out to the employees and get them all of the pay information that they would need along the line of their pay stubs and then obviously their W-2s. Very simple, very easy to use. We gather this information from your payroll transaction tables that are going through. Multiple other different modules that are directly linked to the payroll module that you guys are looking at. This is the profile module. This is going to gather all the information from the employee. It's going to push back this information to back into GP, obviously with full consent from you. There's a full approval process that would go through. But each and every one of these fields can be edited if you want them to. They can also be blocked off. But each and every one of these fields are live fields, and they'll push back into GP. And we are linked with the U.S. Postal Service, so every address that they enter has to be legitimate. They can also enter in their dependents, any sort of work emergency contacts that they would need to also. So all this information will head back into the client card without you guys keying in any information at all. Very simple, very easy to use. As far as the timesheets portion, this is a great way to get time entered into GP. The employees can come out here and they can actually enter in a time entry, enter in information, and it will push back into GP. We will link with the pay codes back in GP, and it will update the employee's pay accordingly. They can actually clock in and clock out from this website. They can do it, we can also block off IP addresses so they're not at a Starbucks or something like that, logging in and clocking in, or we can allow them to do that if that's how you guys would need it. We can also allow employees to log in and clock out from their cell phone if they need to. It's going to make it very simple for them to see their time, sign and submit it, get it to you, and get that information back into GP without you guys having to manually enter it. Obviously saving you lots of time and lots of effort. Right next to it is the time off module. This is going to allow the employees to see all of their time off that they have in GP. We directly work with integrity data, which you just saw, so we can pull all the fields that they've updated to. So we work directly with them. We'll show their current balances. We'll show any balances that they would show too. This will allow the employee to make a new request, take time off, send it to their boss, and get it approved. Each and every one of these fields can be linked to an email also. Under the HR Documents module, there's multiple different areas within payroll that can be updated right here by the employee. They can be done by the employee, such as the direct deposit information. This information can be added by the employee. The employee can enter in their account number, their routing number. We will find the bank. They can pick and choose how much and where the information will be coming from. They can also upload a check using their cell phone by taking a picture of it if they wish, using our app. This will get this information. All of these fields are live and will push back into GP. You do not have to key in any information. Same thing with the W-4. This is going to allow that information to get into payroll so you guys have that accordingly. It's going to allow each and every one of these W-4 key fields. Every key field we're looking at right here will enter back into GP. The employee can look at historical W-4s that they have. They can save their W-4 and they can print it out. Same exact option with their I-9. This is going to allow the employee to manage, excuse me just a moment, this is going to allow the employee to manage their I-9 information and get that back in a GP. So when you initially hire somebody, they can enter in all of those fields that are an annoyance to you guys as an employer and allow you to get this information and push it back into GP without you guys keying it in. We also have an HR Documents module. This module allows you to upload any single document you possibly could have. This can be something as important as a sexual harassment policy all the way down to a new employee new handbook. The employee can click on the document itself. They can read the document. They can make any notes. You can also make this a smart document to where they have to initial off on certain areas or enter in key fields that you would have to. The employees, you can make the employees do that. They can save a copy. They can print a copy. But then they're going to give the online signature. This is going to be an electronic signature that's going to hold directly to this document. We're then going to give you a report as administrators of who's seen this document and who still needs to see this document. We're going to link this to emails also. So if it's something, it's a very important policy that you need to hold people accountable for, we're going to be able to link that to emails. So you're going to be able to see which managers don't have their subordinates who haven't filled out these documents, who haven't seen these documents. You can upload each and every document you possibly want. We actually have another document, another module here that you wouldn't normally think was linked to payroll. This module, we have it, the expense reporting, linked to payroll. This allows you to go ahead and pick and choose, and you can send off different areas of an expense report for your employees. You can do miles. We'll do the calculation for the miles. You can have the employee put down each and every expense they possibly have. You can have them attach a receipt. This is going to be a receipt they can take with their cell phone and upload using the app. You can have them upload the receipt so you can see the amount on the receipt. You can see the reimbursement amount that you're going to be making. And then remember, because this pushes back into GP, each and every one of these fields are going to be linked back into GP. So once this amount is approved, this is going to be sent back into GP, and it's going to show up on their next paycheck on a different line item. Obviously, it will not be taxed, but it will show up on their next pay stub without you guys having to cut any AP checks or bring anything to any other aspect of your team. This will automatically show up on their next pay stub. Another option is the performance evaluation. This is going to allow you to evaluate your employees. You can put goals. You can put a score ranking. You can also have weighted areas. It's also going to allow your employees to acknowledge off that they've seen their evaluation. This is obviously going to be important for reporting reasons. It's going to allow you to change the criteria to whatever you'd like. Put down different areas, put goals, put a total score, and have the employee sign off on it. Going to be a very simple, easy way to put the evaluations online. The last module we're going to take a look at here is going to be the benefits enrollment module. This is very popular right now, as with the ACA rules going through come January 1st. You're going to see each and every one of these reports that are going to be very important to reporting to the government. This is going to allow you to put each and every one of your benefits online for your employees. They're going to be able to scroll down each and every one of the opportunities, from a flexible spending account, a gym membership, to a 401k and a health insurance. Everything you possibly could be giving your employees, we're going to list it up here. Your employees can click on it. So if we just go through and we say, I want this health insurance, I'm going to look at all the information on it. We're going to grab this information from GP, or we can enter it in with you. This is going to show you the costs, all the information, all the pertinent information that you possibly need when making a decision for a health insurance. You can also link documents to this portion. Once you've made the decision, you can confirm employee plus family. You can click confirm. We're going to grab those dependents that came from the profile module. Click finish. And it pushes us right back to the next list. So we've already completed our health insurance. Now we're going to run through dental. We can click on more information, find out all the dental information we have. Decide employee plus family. We can waive coverage if we'd like. But we're going to grab those dependents, click finish, and we're pushed right back. A couple neat things about this module. You're going to see these costs. These are going to be live fields and push back into GP, and we're going to link them to benefit and deduction codes back within GP. So once this employee starts receiving this benefit, this will automatically start coming out of their pay stub without you entering in any fields or doing any manual work. Another neat portion of this is once this employee enters this information and you're set to update those providers, we are going to build an EDI electronic file for you. This file is going to have all the information that your provider will want in an electronic form. And we will give that form to you, and all you have to do is upload it onto the provider's website, and you can move right along from there. There's no keying in information on your end, and there is, and the provider will obviously be updated accordingly. They can have each and every one of their options right down here. And then go ahead and electronically sign off on each one of these. You can also link an actual document to each and every one of these areas. So definitely this was a quick overview of the entire employee portal and the payroll tax service side, but I wanted to basically show you everything that we have along that end. We also do 1099s right out of GP and a few different other portions, 401k reporting, also in garnishments. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll open it up to any questions, and we can kind of go from there.
Okay, does anybody in the live classroom have any questions?
Is there a website where we can get more product information or contact information?
Website for more additional information?
Sure. What I can do is I can send over my personal information, and I can also send over some flyers. There's also on greenshades.com, there's some information about that where you can actually set up a demonstration with me or whomever you'd like, and they'll run through deeper each and every module we looked at, and we can just focus on the modules that you're interested in too. So greenshades.com, excuse me.
If anybody in the remote audience has any questions, you can type them and send them to me, and we'll try and get those answered. Does anybody else in the live classroom have any information or any questions?
What all can you do from their app?
I'm sorry?
What all can you do from the app? See the pay stubs, see the W-2s, clock in and out. Okay,
the question, Patrick, is how many actions can you do from the app?
Right now we have 6 of the modules that will work on the app. As far the employee can enter in their profile information, so that's their personal information that will head out to the employee card back in GP, obviously once approved. They can clock in and clock out. They can take time off and follow up with that portion, obviously see their pay stubs and W-2 information, and they can also view their W-4 information.
Okay, well that's quite a bit.
Does he have time to talk a little bit about garnishments?
Could you expand a little bit on the garnishments module?
Sure. The garnishments module actually is going to sit within inside GP, and it's going to allow payroll operators to easily track their garnishments, child support, IRS levy, etc. And while we're going to actually accrue and paying arrears and generating AP transactions for the garnished wages. All of the states now accept appropriately formatted ACH files for child support intended records, and we'll actually build those and create them for easy and quick submission.
And the other thing that it does, from my experience, is anyone with multiple orders, it will handle those as well and do the calculations, because those can change from payroll to payroll.
So it'll do the minimum payment calculation.
Yeah, and it'll depend, who gets what, when, etc. So it does an excellent job on multiple orders.
How long is information stored from year to year?
How long is information stored from year to year, Patrick?
On the employee portal, we're going to hold the current year and the previous year on the pay history, As far as the, we can definitely hold any other previous information. So if you have many years, we can definitely upload that and show it to you. But right out of the box, we'll hold the current year and the previous year. As far as the documents, we will never take those down. So you can have as many years worth of documents on there as you wish. And as far as the payroll tax side, we'll hold every single payment and file you ever make.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Well, Patrick, I think that that's all we've got. I don't have any questions from the remote audience, and I don't believe there's any more questions from the live audience. So thank you very much. We really appreciate your time.
No, definitely. Thank you, everyone, and hopefully we'll talk soon.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Let me change the presenter back to you here.
Yeah, would you change it back to me? That would be the easiest.
Sure can. Let me know when you have it.
I think I've got it.
Perfect. So thank you so much, and we'll talk later.
Thank you. Let's see, get this working again. Okay, I had introduced myself at the beginning. For those of you that came in later, my name is Jackie Smith. I am a senior consultant with Integrated Business Group with a specialty area of the HR and the payroll. And we don't have a whole lot of time this afternoon, so this is strictly going to be PowerPoints, a high-level introduction to what is available to you. And, of course, if anybody would like to go further than that, then you can contact either Ron or Jeff, and we can arrange a specific demo for you, either with us or with the Integrity or the Green Shades people as well. When I first started doing this, which has been quite a while back, all we had was the basic GP payroll. And about 12 years ago, they added you could buy the human resources as a third party, but they put it in the program. Microsoft licensed that, and it became something that you could license through Microsoft. With GP 2013, they have done some repackaging of the base product, and they're now including payroll and HR with the base product. So if you're on GP 2013 or when you upgrade to GP 2013, you're going to receive the payroll, the human resources, direct deposit, the Federal Mag Media, Payroll Connect, which is an ADP interface if you're outsourcing your payroll to ADP, as well as a module called Position Control. So all of these are going to come with the 2013 purchase or upgrade. So how to get this? You do have to purchase it. You would have to upgrade it, and to do any of those things, if you can also contact your Microsoft partner. Now currently there are 4 modules that are sold separately: the Advanced Payroll, the Advanced HR, and PTO Manager, and the Benefits Self-Service. Now, I did have someone not too long ago that had a misunderstanding on the Advanced Payroll and the Advanced HR. You have your basic payroll. It's always the basic payroll. All the Advanced Payroll is going to do is add maybe 3 or 4 additional functionalities to basic payroll. And the same thing with the Advanced HR. You're always going to have your basic HR. The Advanced HR just adds some additional functionality. It's not an entire package that's Advanced HR. So you always have your basics. And then you have your PTO Manager and the Benefit Self-Service. Now, for those of you that have not done the upgrade to 2013 and you do own payroll, there is a loophole out there that if you own any one of these 4 modules, the Advanced Payroll, Advanced HR, PTO Manager, Benefit Self-Service, when you upgrade to 2013, you will receive all of them as part of your package. So because they're going to package it, if you own one, they will give you all of them. The cheapest one to purchase is the PTO Manager, which is $1,500. But again, you can't purchase that unless you own payroll. So if you own payroll, then that is something that you may want to consider. I want to bring to your attention the payroll extensions. If you already have payroll, you own these. And it was something they kind of, I won't say they sneaked it into the program a few versions ago, but a lot of people don't realize they actually have this. It's an overtime rate manager. It is a little similar to what Integrity just talked about. They have an overtime manager as well, but they do it differently. So it's going to depend on what your need is as to whether the overtime rate manager that comes with the extensions or the Integrity product would be the better choice for you.
Do you have a schematic that shows kind of a chart that shows?
I could probably, well, I tell you the biggest thing with the overtime rate manager with Integrity, the question was, what's the difference? Is the overtime manager with Integrity only works with the hourly and salary pay types. So if you have any other pay types that you need to include into the overtime rate, that would not be the choice for you. So generally, I have found that to be the definer right there. Deductions and arrears. It is an additional module that comes with the extensions that if employees aren't being paid in a certain pay period, that their deductions can go into arrearage, and the next time they get a pay, you can have those come out. You can also assign maximums to those deductions. So let's say they have $100 in insurance and they're behind $100, you could put $150 as the max deduction so that they don't get hit with it all at once. One of my favorites here is the payroll integration to payables. So if you have deductions or benefits at the master level, you can also do this at the employee level. Payroll will create the payable transaction and automatically send it over to accounts payable to be paid. So this is really good for child support garnishments, United Way, anything like that, that you want that payable document created with every payroll. Yes, sir. We have a question?
Does it also integrate with receivables, such as what payroll advances?
No. The question is, does it integrate with receivables? No, it doesn't. It only integrates to the payable module. So, and then deductions and arrears, they actually improved this quite a bit with 2013. I didn't use it too much back in 2010 because there were some issues with it, but I've used it quite a bit with 2013, and it works very, very nicely. And now if you have 40 different deductions that you want to go into arrears, you can actually mark all 40 and post all 40 at one time. And before 2013, it was an individual posting, so it could be quite time-consuming if you had a lot of deductions. So they have cleaned that up with 2013, and now it works very, very nicely, very smoothly. Then the payroll integration to payables. There is the option that you can consolidate federal tax if you want the taxes to go over to payables too. You can have custom voucher descriptions now to better identify the payments, such as court case numbers, etc. So they have improved this as well with 2013. The advanced payroll is 4 pieces. It's the pay policy manager. It allows you to pay an employee additional pay based on position, pay code, department, or a specific shift. So it is shift diff. Now, I actually had a discussion with somebody earlier about this. If you are doing plain shift diff, just plain all shift diff, and you're not doing it based on position, pay code, or department, then we could just use the basic payroll. In basic payroll, they have a shift diff that works very, very well. I probably would not implement this just for shift differential. The transaction auto splits works very nicely. If you have an employee that on a regular basis works in multiple departments or positions, you can set this up in advance and payroll will automatically split that pay. My favorite here is the labor accrual manager. You can do your payroll accrual at the end of the month for the piece of the payroll that might be paid into the next month. So you can get, so it does do a full payroll accrual. And then the last piece here is what they call advanced labor reporting, and there is quite a bit of setup to that, but it does allow you to get more advanced labor reporting than you can get through the basic payroll module. The advanced human resources includes 4 additional areas. You have your certifications and your licensing, your health test and your immunization testing, any injury and illness follow-up, as well as what they call benefit life cycle, where you can create deductions and benefits with future effective dates. Now, some additional things that they added with the 2013 is what they call the advanced warning notice, so you can get any required certifications, licenses, or training. You can get a report that shows you the email addresses for the employees and the supervisors so that notifications can be sent that certain credentials are due to be renewed. I have done a number of healthcare businesses, and this is really, they use the credentials a lot for that. You can also delete history records if you want to do that, and that is password protected. And we've got 4 more additional user-defined fields to track additional information that we didn't have before. Now, position control, it is a full module on its own, and it helps you manage labor budgets and the human resources based on specific job functions and specific head count. Now, Integrity has an FTE manager, and I've really not worked with either one. I've just not had anybody that wanted to implement that. But they do. I do know that they work differently, and if this is important to you, then that's something we may have to actually talk to Integrity about, because they originally wrote position control, to find out what the differences would be to which one might be the best for your particular situation. Really, really easy to do payroll. One of the things I like is we have what we call the build the check file, and those have very specific IDs that you can save. For instance, you can have a check file for your weekly payroll. You can have another build for your semi-monthly management payroll. If you have a bonus payroll that you run quarterly that 401k doesn't get applied to, you can set up that build. So these things happen automatically. So you can set them up for the deductions and benefits that they're supposed to include. I have a number of people with biweekly payrolls that, you know, the twice a year where they have that additional payroll, that they might not have deductions and benefits coming out of that payroll because they're coming out of, you know, the first 2 payrolls of the month. So you can do that easily with just having multiple default IDs and identifying what happens when that ID is used. So all of this can be set up in advance. We have unlimited pay codes, which is types of pay, and we also have unlimited deductions and benefits. And these all can be maintained at the master level. So if you have a change in insurance, let's say you have 4 levels of insurance. So anytime you have a change in premium, you can change it at the master level, and it will roll down to the individual employees. Same thing with the benefits. It does pay salaried people automatically. You don't have to put salaried people through the payroll transaction entry. It's considered what they call an automatic pay type, and the only thing that would go through transaction entry would be exceptions. For instance, they were sick, they were out on holiday, vacation, etc. The other thing that it does very nicely is when you do pay a salaried person their holiday, vacation, or sick time pay, it will automatically reduce their salary pay code. They will still get their full salary, but it's going to reallocate those hours and dollars to another code. So you can actually keep track of how many dollars that someone got in holiday, how many dollars they got in vacation, and how many dollars they actually got to the salary pay code. The transaction entry is really easy. I do still have some customers that do use transaction entry directly. However, there are a number of timekeeping systems, such as we just looked at the Green Shades timesheets, that will work with these very well. There's also Time Matrix that will work with it, where you can have the biometric scanners, and all of those automatically have interfaces into GP. The direct deposit, all you have to do is basically set it up. We usually send a trial run to the bank, and then it's basically just activate it, and it's activated. So it's not, there's not a whole lot of setup with that. At the master level, of course, you do have to set up the employees. PTO, you can actually track that in payroll. Now, you would pick one or the other of these. You can track it in payroll, you can track it in human resources, PTO manager, or we just saw the integrity product, which is the comprehensive leave manager. So it's going to depend on what you're looking for, your PTO policies, as to which of these products that you would choose that would work the best for you. This was, for those of you that are on payroll, you'll probably agree with this. It used to be whenever we went to print checks, the first choice was to print the alignment form. And of course, with laser printers, we don't have to do that anymore. So they finally gave us the option to change that to print checks. So there's no accidentally printing alignment forms anymore. You do have a warning for duplicate checks. You have the ability to go forward or to stop processing. And it's something else which is nice. The way payroll works is when you build the check file, you have what's called warnings or criticals. Warnings, it'll let you go ahead, which means somebody might have gotten over their vacation hours, so they had 40 and they had 30 and you paid them 40. That's a warning. It's not going to stop payroll. There are critical messages that will start payroll, and now you can actually get an exception report of nothing but your warnings and your criticals. So if you have a big build file, you don't have to review the whole file to see, you may be looking for one problem. So that was a nice new feature to 2013. You're now able to edit pay code history for, and this again is a 2013 feature, for workers' comp, SUTA, and FUTA. So for instance, let's say you forgot to assign, or the wrong FUTA state was assigned, or you forgot to assign it. You can now go back to the pay codes and assign that historically. FICA Social Security and FICA Medicare are now two individual options and can be tax sheltered individually. And then another thing I particularly like is there is a utility now on the payroll menu that allows you to change the ID or the identifier for pay codes, deductions, and benefits. So if you make one up and you called it hour and you decide you want to call it hourly, then you can actually go in and change that at the master level and it will flow through. So that is particularly nice. I know people that have set up things they wish they hadn't called it what they called it, and then they have to live with it forever. So this is a really nice change here. And that's Integrity website, Integrity-Data, and I had meant to put Green Shades on here, and I didn't, or maybe I do have it on the next one. Yeah, Green Shades. It's Green Shades So integrity data. You can also go to that GPHRP website for integrity data. And I'll tell you, do take some time and go out to their website, because on almost all of their products, they have, you can watch a video on that. So it's very, very nice to do that. And there's a tremendous amount of information on the GreenShade site as well. Actually, let me go back. I get the last slide up here. And does anybody have any questions on this last portion?
I have a question about, we currently do our payroll through a payroll service. If we wanted to convert and pull all these employees in, is there a conversion method to pull that data versus keying each individual employee?
The question is, if you currently have your payroll in an outsourced payroll system, how would you get the employees from that system into GP? There are several different import tools that GP uses. You've got Integration Manager, you've got Smart Connect. Typically, most of the outsourced payroll companies can give you your data in a CSV file or something like that, and then with that integration tool, we can pull it in with that. Does anybody else have any questions? If anybody in the remote audience would like to type a question, we can try and answer that. All right, then if those I don't see any questions coming in, and if there's no more questions here in the live audience, then I think we're done for today. Thank you so very much for attending and for coming.
Thank you.